breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The grace of God is gracing me and resting in the grace of God. I know that all is well. The joy of God is joy in me, is resting in the joy of God. I know that all is well. The love of God is loving me and resting in the love of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. I know that all is well. I know that all is well.
There's just almost everything you can think of to be grateful for. I just had a conversation this morning with my granddaughter who lives in Paris.
Happy for the rain.
And I'm so grateful to have power again. We lost power in the Oakland Hills for a few days, just like we did up here. And we even had a scare up there. There was a fire in our neighborhood. So I was so grateful that we had the power shut off then.
I am grateful for my dog, who gives me unconditional love and laughter and joy and just loyalty that you cannot even imagine.
So I am grateful for this wonderful life that I am living.
I'm grateful for having Zoom because I'm not seeing very many of you otherwise. And this way I can, and I can keep in contact with my daughter in New Mexico. And it's almost like we had an actual visit. We'll spend an hour together sometimes. So she tells me about what's going on in her life, and I do the same. Hers is more interesting than mine, but I'm pretty isolated here. But I have a nice home. I'm so happy to have this place. I can walk around. I can walk around the neighborhood. So I do feel very grateful. Thank you.
I am also grateful for similar things. My home and is in nature, and it feels wonderful to be here. And I'm lucky that my family lives near me, and I'm grateful for that they are here and we see each other frequently.
I'm grateful to be part of two communities here and there, and that's why I don't get to see you as much.
I am actually very grateful for, in no particular order, my family.
Just enjoying each special day.
I'm grateful for every person who has ever worked or volunteered as a firefighter, because sometimes I catch myself taking safety for granted, and I could not do that without them.
I'm grateful for my spiritual community. It still feels a little new to me, and it feels good. It's opening my heart and my mind, actually. Rev, thanks to you. I appreciate that. And my life. I've been blessed with a good life, and I'm grateful. Thank you. I'm complete.
Grateful that that fire didn't start and consume the hills. And
I am so grateful for the housemates who joined me just at 1st of January last year. And she goes to Unity Church. So we're very much the same thinking. But Jody Benson has been a true gift. She came knowing that she would give me some help, but she's not a caretaker. And yet she made my coffee early this morning so I would not miss the first of the service. And she shops and she cooks, and we, watch the same programs. It's it is so good, and that relationship, it just dropped out of the blue. We had never seen each other before she came to visit, so we both think this is quite a miracle and love it. And then I've always been the one who had to go for family gatherings someplace else because the family, we moved to California. The rest of the family didn't. They're in Seattle and Portland and North Carolina. And, so I just got an email talking about how this year, particularly, even those who live close will be separated, and how we'll have that loving gathering, but just realize that it isn't necessarily the physical presence. That love is a thread that is so there always. And for that, I'm grateful.
And the really wonderful group that I have on Facebook that is very inspiring and allows me to contribute big time. That feels really good to be seen.
Well, I am so grateful to be here with you all today via Zoom technology. In these strange times, it's so great to be able to be connected this way.
I am thankful every day that I live in this community.
I see the value of rain and the seasons changing and the cycle of life continuing on.
I'm grateful for all the people in my life, for you all, for our center continuing in whatever form it is.
Today, I'm so grateful for the blue sky, the clean air, the sunshine, that I live in nature and I'm just looking out at all the trees and the leaves are changing colors. And
I'm grateful for you, Reverend Ray, very much so.
Just grateful to be alive and for all the blessings that I continuously are given and can enjoy. Just, I'm so blessed. And
I am grateful for my life.
I'm grateful for our church.
Thank you, Rev Ray, for your beautiful message today. It's so timely and relevant.
I'm grateful to be living this life where we do have the opportunity of many challenges, our growth and so forth.
I'm grateful for you all.
I am happy inside.
I am thankful to rain.
I'm delighted by the change in the weather. I love the rain and it's so wonderful. We got some rain, get some sunshine. Hopefully we'll get some more rain soon.
I'm grateful for the long life that I know I'm going to live, and living in Grass Valley.
Pretty special. And I'm grateful for my home and my family.
I'm happy to be living here in Nevada County. It's beautiful.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to get out into nature and to enjoy the beauty that is all around us.
I'm grateful for my good health.
Thank you for letting me be part of your great community.
And thankful for my spiritual community.
So grateful for the spectacular fall foliage around here. We have some maples in our neighborhood that are beyond spectacular, just incredible. So the beauty of the earth always tends to make me very, very thankful.
Yeah, I'm just grateful for this season. One of my favorites, we went into town today and just to see all that beautiful color. And I loved having the rain.
That's just off the charts for me.
Fortunately for me, where my townhouse is near SPD Seven Hills, and our power stays on. So grateful, because it's difficult. And my fireplace works even if the power is off. So I'm very well, I feel blessed with that song, and blessed to have this community. And although I don't get out, I am very seldom outside and would love to more, miss the hiking days. But we do what we can do. And I can eat the Halloween candy that nobody came to collect. That's today. Anyway, blessings to this church and to this community. It's not a church as much as a community. And I thank you, Rev, for your leadership. Yeah, blessings.
I'm so grateful for the birds, the beauty, the flowers, the trees. Especially this time of the year, when it's a period when the veil between the living and those that are alive in our hearts, but their bodies are gone, is very thin. So I'm grateful. It's my favorite time of year, Day of the Dead, and I'm doing a special altar from my sweet dog Sancho, who transitioned this year.
And grateful for health and well-being and a wonderful husband.
And I love you all, and just know that I carry you in my heart, and I love it when I get to spend time with you this way.
Good evening, beloveds. Welcome to Sierra Center for Spiritual Living Thanksgiving Eve service. My name is Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am so honored that you chose to join me this evening. So before I get started, I want to recap, because one of the things that we do here every year is in this Thanksgiving Eve service, we go through a meditation visioning process to set an intention for what we're going to be grateful for a year from now, and to live in that gratitude all year long as an action of faith. And typically what happens is those cards are held in this little silver box back here. In this little box. And then, right before Thanksgiving, I take those out and mail them to you. And this year, I opened the box to mail them to you, and lo and behold, there is an empty box. And so I am choosing to imagine that someone who is a member here that has a key made the choice to come get those, thinking they were being helpful, to mail those out. And so I'm just going to live in that choice of thought, that they are somewhere in transit to you, and that wherever they are, I know with absolute certainty, because you hold them in consciousness, that they are active in law and have been since the day you wrote them down. And so if you happen to be the one who took them to mail them out, and maybe you have forgotten to mail them, if you could drop them in the mail so everybody can get them, that would be great. It would also be wonderful if you gave me a ring to let me know you picked those up. And so that's just where it's at. And so let's anchor as we start with how we start everything in prayer. And so as I breathe into this space of oneness, into this field of infinite possibility, I am knowing that this one is the perfect activity of creation. That this one is the very wholeness of creation. That it is that unchanging essence that continuously expresses itself in individualized form, exquisitely individualized expressions that represent a desire of its heart to know itself as its expression. And so I am knowing that the intentions set by everyone this time a year ago have been and remain active in the fulfillment of law. That the paper they were written on is merely symbolic of the intention of the activity of creation within each individualized expression to express itself in abundance, to express its unique heart's desire in the fulfillment of the abundant nature that is the very nature of each individualized expression. I speak a word of blessing for whomever possesses these cards, knowing that their intention is one of honoring, that their activity is one of igniting every one of those cards into fulfillment as part of the one life. It can only be that way. Creation creating, love loving, life living. I speak my word for this time together, knowing that we are each awakened to a deeper knowing within each of our individualized selves of that greater self within. That we catch a glimpse of a desire to express something greater than we have known ourselves to be. And that as we glimpse that, we say yes. Yes to being more than we know we can be. I speak a word for myself that I am guided in this service by the authority of love itself, by the authority of abundance itself, that is expressing everything that needs to be heard is heard, everything that needs to be said is said. That everyone is awakened to their own spiritual magnificence in its unique expression, knowing that just as quickly as the words are spoken, they are fulfilled in the gratitude of faith, the knowing that it's already complete. I can let go and simply let it be and look for the evidence of its fulfillment. And so I do, as I anchor the word of the infinite by saying, Amen. Aho. Shalom. Ashe. And so it is. Everything's better with prayer. So tonight we're going to explore faith for just a brief moment. And I want to read a couple of quotes and then talk a little more in depth about them. From Richer Living, which was written by Dr. Holmes in 1953, from page 128, paragraph 1, he says, Faith acts like a law because it is a law. It is the law of spiritual mind in action. When we realize this, we no longer feel that we must have faith in ourselves as isolated human beings, but rather as human beings included in the greater law of life. Then we can rest in complete confidence that our words are the presence and the power and the activity of the Spirit in us. All sense of making things happen, holding thoughts or concentration of the mind are put aside. And with quiet, childlike acceptance, we make known our requests with thanksgiving. I think the key there is understanding that law is always operating. And that idea of childlike innocence. Because if you think back, and for some of us it's a further trip back than others, to our childhood, where we just knew things. We just knew it was going to happen. And we didn't doubt. And then lo and behold, bada bing, bada boom, there it is. What would it be like if we entered into the desires of creation that are moving in us, that are whispering to us with that level of assuredness, that we just knew that because it's a desire in our heart to express, and that law operates with absolute certainty, that what is held in consciousness must be made manifest, wouldn't it automatically take us to a space and an energy in the activity of celebration? See, that's the activity of gratitude. That's the activity, the energy of thanksgiving is that place where we know and we live in that energy that it's already fully present before we see it. It's already done. And so that's what's available to us, not just in this season of Thanksgiving here in North America, but in everyday life. That we can live in the power of Thanksgiving every moment of every day, even in the midst of turmoil, even in the midst of a pandemic, in the chaos, in the human sadness that many of us are experiencing tonight, knowing that we won't be with the family members or the friends that we would ordinarily choose to be with. And so I invite you to feel the depth and breadth of your human experience and find the gratitude for this moment, because we can do the both and. The next quote that I want to look at comes from Spiritual Awareness, written in 1972, from page 18, paragraph 3. Let us learn to know our requests with thanksgiving and with acceptance, and having done this in the silent communion of our soul with its source, capital S, let us believe that the law of mind will do the rest. All too often, when we have those divine nudges, we can get lost in this human activity of doing. And we can actually get in our own way. Because sometimes what my ego tells me to do collides with what law has already set in motion, with what Spirit is already manifesting. And typically, when we're in that space of trying really hard to do it all, it's actually coming from a place of doubt. And so we find ourselves grabbing at straws, trying to make the desires of our heart come into being. If you remember, we've talked about this many times, the kingdoms of consciousness. And that first kingdom of consciousness, of victimhood, of feeling like life is happening to us. And that second kingdom, the second kingdom is the one of really busy doing, where we think that life happens by us, that we are the ones that have to make everything happen. And I submit to you that there's something beyond that. This kingdom 3 of life happening through us. This month, we've been talking about being conduits of consciousness, conduits of compassion. And so tonight I invite you to consider that you are a conduit of the very activity of creation. And that when we really anchor into a knowingness of that, gratitude is really the only option. Now, one kingdom of consciousness beyond it is happening through me is that it is happening as me. And that is that place where we stand squarely in the authority, in the agency, that we are the very activity of the divine in form. That all of the power of creation itself fully resides as us. And so those divine nudges are the soul of creation, is the activity of law, is the activity of cause and effect, moving itself from cause, from consciousness, into form, effect. And if we simply say yes to those divine nudges and surrender our egoic need to control, my experience is things evolve much more efficiently. Maybe not as fast as I want them to, but more efficiently, more accurately. So know that that is an option. The final quote I offer for your consideration is this. This is from Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith from 40-Day Mind Feast, Soul Feast. 40-Day Mind Fast, Soul Feast. Day 24. Gratitude is where freedom and destiny meet, because gratitude is a divine doorway to the fulfillment of destiny. When you consciously choose to express thanksgiving, this sets causation in motion to manifest your destiny of wholeness of every expression of life. You are already whole, perfect, and complete. There is nothing missing in you. If there is something missing in your outward life, I promise you that as you align really anchor into the truth that you are the activity, that you are a center of divine creation manifesting itself in form, that everything you need in this earthly realm will manifest itself. That is the promise of wholeness. But we have to know our wholeness first. We can't manifest ourselves into wholeness. We have to experience our wholeness. Consciousness first, cause first, then effect. And so I invite you, right where you are, to go within. We're going to take a short journey into that place of wholeness, into that place of your divine perfection. So I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable with this, not if you're driving. And simply to go inward. And as we move inward in this place of stillness, this place of knowingness, this place where pure potential resides within us, I invite you to simply listen. To listen for those first nudges, those first ideas of who you are, of the truth of you, of the magnificence of you. And as you catch those ideas, to imagine, to allow your wholeness, your perfection, your completeness, to inform you in the form of an idea of what you live in gratitude of. How your wholeness, how your completeness, how your perfection is expressing. And I invite you to write that down, capture it somehow, text it to yourself. Technology is amazing. To just breathe in the ideas that come. Letting go of needing to figure out the how. We already know the why, because you're a divine expression of the infinite. Allow yourself to know the what. So as I shared earlier, our typical practice is to write that on a card, and we would send around the offering basket, and everything would be placed in the basket. And so we have several options available to us this evening. You can write it on a card and mail it to the center, Sierra Center for Spiritual Living, P.O. Box 2714, Grass Valley, California, 95945. Or if you're on Zoom, you can private chat that to me, or you're welcome to just send it so everyone can see it in the chat function. If you're on YouTube, that chat function is public, and you're welcome to put it there at your own comfort zone. The other thing that you can do is you can email it to me at revrafe@sierracenter.org, and I will print it out and put it in an envelope. Make sure that you include your return address, and I will hold those until this time next year and send those back to you. And I will hold them in a different manner than we have in the past, because every event is an opportunity to learn. And so I hope that you will choose to avail yourself of one of those options. And so love finds a way where there doesn't seem to be a way. And so we have numerous ways now. You have the chat functions, you have email, you have snail mail. What I know is that the simple act of writing down, I am grateful for whatever it is, sets law in motion. And so it's already done. And I invite you to anchor in that truth, to know with absolute certainty that your word has power, that you are a center of creation. And it is so simply because you have moved it into the activity of law. Let's anchor all of this in prayer. Gratitude, that sweet place of knowing the infinite, of catching the desire of love to express, the desire of life to unfold. The magnificence of saying yes to that, to joining the vibration of the one. I celebrate every thought that has come to mind in every exquisitely, magnificently, beautifully individualized expression of life. Knowing that life's only desire is to express. Knowing that each expression caught and held in consciousness is activated in law and must be made manifest. So we let go of the timing, we let go of the control, we let go of the doingness. And we breathe in and align again and again with the activity of completion, the activity of perfection, the activity of wholeness. And we live in a state of gratitude, in a state of thanksgiving. So we can let go. We can let go in peace. We can let go in celebration. And so we do. And together we say, and so it is. am so honored that you chose to join me this evening. Know that beyond words, I love you deeply, and I live breath to breath in gratitude for the gift of you in my life. Thank you. Have an amazing Sunday.